Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Ìbànújẹ́ ò jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé mi. Yeah. Wàá múnú mi dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi, má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Yes, sir. Ìbànújẹ́ ò jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé mi. Wàá múnú mi dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi, má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi sẹ́, má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. So this is a show I'm doing for myself. Yes, it is. And, I used to sing a lot. I used to dance a lot on the shows many years ago. And then, I don't know, something happened and I lost that part of me, right? But part of doing this show is supposed to be fun and lively and, yet we want to learn something, don't we? Yes, we do. But every show should be fun. It shouldn't be so rigid. I am not Barbara Walters and I'm definitely not Oprah. So, hey, this is Moji Solo Wilson and this is Authentic Conversations with Moji. Music, love, fun, life is to be lived and shared and felt. You can't live your life all sheltered and shadowed and worried about the shadows everywhere and everybody's coming to get you. But you can protect yourself, right? Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. You can protect yourself. Emotional currency. If somebody gives you $100, $100, how would you like to spend it? Pretend your emotions is dollar bills. You're not going to walk around giving it to everybody, and you're definitely not going to walk around buying every bloody thing you see, right? That's the key. That's the topic of today. So hang in there for a second. All right, I'll be right back. Welcome to Authentic Conversations with Moji, and yes, I'm back. I am back. For months, I've been carrying this heavy load. I've been looking at the Nigerian news. I've been looking at the post of people. I've been looking at the number of people that died. I didn't even realize it. I've been so caught up in so much that is outside of me, Moji. I've been worried about how Nigerians would survive with the coronavirus. I find myself fighting every battle for everybody. I'm only one person. So I started to do research. Yeah. You know me, I always do research because I need to back things up. I like things that I can say, hey, this is why this is going on. So I, Moji, went ahead and I started to do research because I found that I'm gaining weight. I keep eating Nigerian food and I never used to eat Nigerian food every day. All of a sudden I'm eating Nigerian food. And then I woke up this morning and I said, oh my God, I get it. See, Nigeria that I know when I left the country many, many years ago in 1982 is not the same Nigeria that I know now because I've been away from Nigeria for so long. And now that they have the 14-year law against people that are married to the same gender, of course, it's a big issue. So I started to ask myself, how did I get here? Emotional currency. We waste our emotions on people and things that don't matter so much. Let me give you a great example. Somebody made a post yesterday about, this morning. I made a post yesterday about something, and then I see somebody, another Facebook friend, make a post about what did she say? She said something to the effect that if something is true, and because you don't like it, it doesn't mean people shouldn't post it. But here's the problem with that statement. I mean, I can say horrible, mean things about people. I can say things about a race, but it totally enrages people. It makes them really upset. It hurts their feelings. Just because something is true doesn't mean you have to say it. I mean, the things that you say, actually, there's a place and a time for everything, and there's a context for everything as well. So we go back and forth, and I'm looking at myself, why am I even wasting my time with this person? Because she won't get it. She has heterosexual privileges, so she's not going to get it. And people like that are usually the ones that are hurt the most, but you want to get likes, you want to get, just let it go, Moji. Let it go. That's when it hit me. Emotional currency. See, we all choose where we'll spend our currency. We sometimes choose to spend our currency with people that aggravate us or agitate us. Or, some people want to help the whole world, like I used to be. I used to want to save Captain Save the Whole. Yeah, I wanted to save the whole world. I wanted to invest in Nigeria, a country that doesn't recognize me as or my rights as a human being. I was dying to invest in Nigeria. I wanted to help to make their lives better. I wanted to help Nigerians become better people. I wanted to educate them. I wanted to build them houses. Now I don't really want to do that. No, because I don't owe anybody anything. Individually, you can't save the whole world, but you can individually help one person at a time to lift them up, not to carry them on your head either, just to lift them up. So when we talk about emotional currency, what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that a lot of times we as humans, we have just a certain number of time in this world. We waste so much time on people and things that don't matter. We collect 5,000 Facebook friends and we think they're truly friends. Honey, no, they're not. A lot of those, if you notice in your circle, on your Facebook page, you only talk to the same, maybe 20 or 30 people all the time. All the other people are voyeurs. So then why do you have them sitting on your timeline? Think about it. Ask yourself that. Why do you have 5,000 Facebook friends? There's no way you could know. I have people I've been deleting people for the past 2 years because I have to wait for their birthdays to come. Then I unfriend them because why are you sitting on my page and you have personal insight into my life? And once in a while, people will come out and say the wrong things. And I'm like, who's this? They're not my friend. And then you realize they're really your friend. They're your Facebook friends. You're not getting paid rent. So why do we, because I'm part of the people, why do we subject ourselves to posts that drain us? Why do we subject ourselves to people that drain us? Emotional currency. See, in a marriage, sometimes it's you, your husband, your wife, your partner. I don't care if you're gay, straight, or crooked. Moji's world, you can be whatever you want to be. Just live an authentic life. As you know, I'm a lesbian, so I talk about wife and I talk about husband, but it doesn't mean I have a husband for clarity purposes. So when you're in a relationship with a person, it's you and that person that said I do. Not you, the person's mother, the person's father, the person's brother, not the extended family, none of that. It's just the two of you that got married, right? So then you go into a relationship, right? Hey, Stella, you go into a relationship with a person, and then you have all these external hanger-ons. You have the father-in-law, the mother-in-law usually are the problem. Not always the father-in-law, but you have the father-in-law, the mother-in-law, the brothers, the cousins, and the this and the that. There's only one you. So by the time you've spent your emotions running around and taking care of this person's headache, and you're taking care of that person's problem, and you're doing this and you're doing that, there's nothing left for your partner. So you end up in a situation where you're emotionally bankrupt by the end of the day, and there's nothing there for your partner. So now you think it's the witches that are doing voodoo to you, right? Now you think it's babalawos and kinikon. No, it's you. Accountability, namaste. It's you. It's not anybody else. It's you. Because if you think about it, while you're trying to be Captain Save the Whole and save the whole family and save the whole world, you have nothing left for yourself and your partner. Who does that? We all do. We all do that. I did that for many, many years until I had this therapist that said to me, Moji, for 30 days, you're not allowed to do anything for anybody. You're not allowed to give anything to anybody for 30 days. And at that point in my life, if somebody offered me something, I was like, hell no, I don't want anything from anybody. So she made me go through this series of 30 days. It was hell. The first 2 weeks, oh my God, I thought I was going to die. And part of the problem is not really that we're doing these things, because people always say, oh, you're a great person, Moji, you're always helping people. Honey, I'm not a great person. I love helping people. It gives me joy to help people. Don't inbox me and ask me for help. I'm no longer that woman. But it used to give me joy. It made me feel good about my life. It made me feel good about myself. That's why I did the things that I did. And I still help people. I just don't do it like I used to anymore, because I find myself running. I used to run. I won't pay my rent. I'll be paying other people's rent. I won't pay my own bills. I'll be paying bills for people that are living in houses, sending their kids to schools in Nigeria that they can afford. And I'm living in America. I have to pay my electric, pay this, pay that, pay that. And I was sending money to everybody and their grandmother. And then one day I said to myself in therapy, I'm like, I don't know why I do this. And I had to really explore. And in order to explore that, you have to get in touch with your emotional bank. to find out, why do I do the things that I do, right? That's fantastic for you. Extended family is great if you have this right extended family. If you have all these jealousy, batty people, shuku to them. I'm not saying extended family is bad for relationships. We all need extended families. Good morning, Angela. We all need extended families. What I'm saying is that when you don't focus your energies on your relationships and make your relationship priority, in my opinion, by the time you have spent your emotions everywhere else and you don't protect yourself and you don't protect your emotional bank, and you have people making withdrawals from your emotional bank all the time, you are going to have a deficit in your emotional bank. It's inevitable. If you have a relationship where people deposit and they take out, it's not a big deal. But I'm talking about in relationships where people just take away from you. I'm so lucky. I have one of the best in-law. When it comes to families, I think I have the best in-law families. My mother-in-law was amazing. I mean, amazing. The woman made my wife and I wedding rings. I mean, she's a Nigerian older person, over 80 at that point. She made us wedding rings. My brother-in-law is super fantastic. You would think he was my birth brother. The whole family is amazing. But there's no way you'll have an amazing family if you don't put up boundaries around your relationship and your emotional bank. You will run out of emotional currency. It's inevitable. The same thing goes with friends. If you have friends that make withdrawals from you all the time and they just dump their issues on you, and it's not a two-way street, you will go bankrupt. I made a joke on my Facebook page the other day about how, every birthday, I have this bunch of people from Nigeria that always tell me, oh, I meant to send you a present, but there's always excuse. The mail takes too long. So I made a post on my page yesterday. I said, look, for you Nigerian people that want to send me presents, you can start sending it now, because my birthday is the same day every bloody year. So if every year you're giving me the same excuses, it means that you're making more withdrawals than you are making. And it's not that I'm expecting presents from anybody, but don't come and tell me why you couldn't send me presents. Just don't even talk about it, because nobody owes anybody anything. And once I put up that wall, that boundary of what I am willing to do, when I'm willing to do it, me understanding what my emotions, what I'm going through at that moment, it's very important to understand what emotional stock we have. There are days that are better than others. Nowadays, when I'm a certified life coach, I do 45 minutes to 1 hour sessions with people. So my day is on an hourly basis and they're well planned out. And what I find is that people want to call me and talk for 3, 4, 5 hours. I'm not doing that. Because if you are my client and you're paying me for my time, you're not going to be on the phone with me for 2 hours. It doesn't matter if you're paying 10 cents. People value what they pay for. So one of the things that I started to do in the past, I think, few years or so, was to take inventory of my emotional bank. Because if I don't do that, I'm not going to even have a minute for myself, let alone my partner, my wife, right? Emotional intelligence and emotional currency sometimes goes hand in hand, because a lot of things that you're supposed to say no to, when you don't have emotional intelligence, you're going to say yes to it. If you say yes to something like, let's see, your partner's birthday is coming up, or your wife's birthday is coming up, and your friend calls you to go shopping with her to go find a pair of shoes, which is more important? Your partner's, but again, everything is relative. Your friend's, spending time with your friend might be more important than your partner's birthday. Shuku to you, if that's the way your relationship works. There's nothing etched in stone. Number one rule, emojis world, custom make your own relationship. Because what works for you in your relationship is not going to work for me. So whatever I say on my shows, if it doesn't work for you, just flush it down the toilet, waka pass. For those that it resonates with, if you want to borrow it, use it, share it, whatever, shuku to all of you. Bottom line is, for me, in my opinion, and I've been in and out of therapy, I've had life coaches, I'd name it. Before I became a life coach, I had plenty. And one of the things that was very consistent is creating boundaries. Without boundaries, everything just bleeds into each other. Without boundaries, without you understanding who you are and what makes you tick, it's impossible impossible to understand and know what it is that you want. People talk about you must love yourself to fall in love with other people. Yes, it's true. Because see, when God said, if you're a Christian or you believe in God anyways, it doesn't even matter. When they say love yourself as you love your neighbor, if you don't love yourself and you don't take care of yourself, you have to treat yourself the way you want people to treat you. Emotional currency is something that we don't have. It's not something that is unlimited, basically. It's not like a river that's flowing or the sea that we don't know where it starts and stops. A lot of people are going through a nervous breakdown between these times of coronavirus where we've been stuck indoors. For people like me that are outdoorsy people, I ride my bicycle, I love to go, I do so much outside. In the first 2 months, I thought I was going to lose my weave, literally, right? I was going to say my hair, but it's it's a weave. So when you think about things like that, about spending all this time at home, now we've all had time to really confront ourselves. We've had time to confront us, literally get to understand who we are. We've had so much time at our hands to, I almost want to say reinvent ourselves, or is it innovate ourselves? And sometimes, yeah, innovate, I think is a word. We're beginning to understand ourselves a little bit better because we got to spend more time alone. There's nothing like alone time, isn't it? Oh my God. Alone time for some of us is one of the most difficult things because we have to now face our demons. We have to face ourselves. We have to accept who we are. We have to accept our shortcomings. We have to acknowledge where we need to make changes. And then we have to, understand, am I able to make this change, or is this something I have to live with, right? Emotional currency is one of the most valuable things that we all can have. Because your emotional currency, when you're stable and your chakras are aligned, right? Which is basically meaning that you don't allow the wind to blow you back or to blow you forward. And even if it does blow you this way, you're not falling. Like an Iroko tree, if you're firmly grounded and you understand how important protecting your emotional bank is and your emotional space is, life becomes so much easier, right? Well, a little bit easy anyways. And it's one of those things that it's an individual thing. It's not like we can do a group session. Emotional intelligence you can learn. Emotional intelligence is basically knowing how to behave, when to say things, even when some things are true. I learned the hard way that it's not, you don't necessarily have to say it in that moment. You have to learn there's a place and a time for everything. And it's one, again, it's another thing that's very hard to learn when you're a free-spirited person. And just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it, or it doesn't mean you have to say it right there and then, right? We can debate things back and forth for many, many days. But one thing is for sure, we can all agree on the fact that if you have somebody or people that continually just take from you, emotionally, mentally, and physically, eventually you're going to have a crash. You're going to burn out. You will burn out because there's nowhere that I know that you can buy emotions. There's nowhere that you can buy goodwill. People can enhance your happiness. They can enhance your joy, but they cannot give you their joy. They cannot give you their happiness, which basically means that you have to do things and surround yourself with things that will reproduce, that continually gives you joy. If it's walking in the morning that gives you joy, do it. If it's swimming, do it. If it's exercising, for me, exercise is my happy pill. And no matter where I am in the world, I turn on my YouTube, even if it's Zumba and I just dance a little bit, it gives me endorphins. Understanding ourselves, I think, kind of helps you to I'm going to take some comments in a minute. Understanding ourselves helps us to understand what it is that makes us tick. It helps us to understand who it is that makes us feel good. See, there's a difference between feeling good, right, on a long-term basis, and feeling good temporarily. There's that kind of feeling good where it kind of feels like you've had alcohol. That's not healthy. It's like a roller coaster movement, up and down in those kind of relationships. Some people like it, and that's what works for them. For me, I kind of like it. I like stability. I like consistency. I love exciting things to happen to me in my life, but I like to know that even on the worst day, we're having an argument, you and I don't get along, but I trust your intent. I trust your intent. Keyword, I trust your intent. Trusting somebody's intent is one of the most important things in life. And a lot of people, because they don't trust themselves, they feel you don't trust them, or they feel you because, they don't understand themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. Now, all the burden is on you. So you must be very careful who you surround yourself with. At least that's what I taught myself. I don't know if it works. I'm still deleting people off of Facebook, not because they're bad people, not because, they have no right, but to their thoughts, but because they do have a right to their thoughts, as I have a right not to surround myself with emotional vampires. Why would I want to be around people that don't appreciate who I am, or think that because I'm a homosexual, I have no value or no worth? I don't have to associate with you. Why would I want to punish myself? That's part of emotional currency. I used to jump up every day and fight people on social media because of what they posted on their pages about homosexuality. Now I don't bother. Why would I bother? I don't even see it because I deleted them all. I'm sure they're still talking about the same thing on their world. Everybody has a right to live their lives the way they choose to. Key thing is that, as far as I'm concerned, you as a human being have a right to protect your space or sanity. I don't hang out with the KKK because I personally choose not to hang out with people that will say things that will hurt me. I live in America where everybody has a right, freedom of speech. For us Black people to sit at the table, the KKK must be given a chair at the table as well. That's what diversity and inclusion is all about. The inclusion, that people think because they have Black people or because you have Indian people or non-white people at the table, that's diversity. Until you start to include us in everything you do or they do, that's not diversity. That's not inclusion. You can have diversity without inclusion. The same way you can have friendships without love, mutual respect. It's the same way. There's a lot of people that call themselves your friend, or my friend, honey, you're not really. I did that show once and I told somebody on the show, I'm like, you're not my friend, you're an acquaintance. And I had to learn that the hard way, because at the end of the day, friendship doesn't mean you agree on everything. Friendship doesn't even mean that you see things eye to eye. I can be your friend and we can have difference of opinion, but there has to be that mutual respect of each other's identity. I'm a woman, you can't be a misogynistic man and I'm your friend. We can be acquaintances, we can be Facebook allies or Facebook buddies, but I will never call you my friend, because now I know where to spend my what? My emotional currency. Because if I have $100 to my name and I need to go grocery shopping, I'm not going to go and buy beluga caviar, a drop of it, when I know I have to eat for the whole week. So it's the same thing with emotional currency. Emotional currency is one of the most valuable things that we have, like time. Time nobody can buy. Time nobody can reproduce, really. At least I haven't met anybody. Even if you turn the clock backwards, time is still moving at the rate that it normally is. And we waste so much time trying to fix things that are broken. You know, the song, sometimes you have to lose to win again, kept ringing in my head. Sometimes you have to win. You have to lose to win again. Sometimes you have to lose to win again. And I'm thinking to myself, where is this stuff coming from? And then, of course, it dawned on me this morning that a lot of times people are stuck in their own little wheel that keeps going like this. And they're hoping tomorrow is going to get better. The wheel is going like this. Honey, half of you guys are in relationships that you settled for. You know, you were so damn desperate to be with a partner or somebody like that. I've been there, done that before. You just pick a partner. So now you're wasting your emotional and time currency on trying to fix something that's really jacked up, because it was never what you wanted to begin with. You just thought you'll manage it. You know, a lot of Nigerian women are pushed into marriages because they're getting too old. Emotional currency and time and emotional intelligence are two of the most important things that go hand in hand. Because look, at some point in our lives, we have to start to understand that life is short. And you're here today, you could be gone tomorrow. While you're waiting and praying and hoping and all this and all that, knowing fully well this is not what you want in your life. This is not, you thought this was the right person, or you might have even said, okay, I can manage this thing, but it's not working out. So you waste your emotional currency trying to fix that person instead of fixing yourself So you can see the value in you enough to be worth picking up and starting over, right? There's no shame in starting over, honey. Same thing goes in business. I can't tell you how many businesses I've failed in. I can't tell you, but I must give myself credit. I tend to try a lot of things, right? I do. I try things out and see. Look, I read this book once about Thomas Edison that he, before he got the light bulb right, he tried it like God knows thousands of times, and after a while, one day, boom, it clicked. Even though there's so many versions of that story, but the bottom line is, you gotta trust yourself enough. You have to value yourself enough. I had to learn that, and it's a lifelong journey. Nobody woke up one day and poof. And some people are born with it. Some people are lucky that they have both parents that are just super fantastic, and they made them feel like gold. I wasn't. My father had 12 wives. My mother wasn't there. So I grew up thinking I was not even, I was being discarded of. That's how I felt growing up, because I didn't have my own, so to speak. Some people are lucky. Their dad's married to their mom and everything is hunky-dory, so they grew up with amazing self-confidence. My self-confidence came on later in life. So when you get self-confidence after being battered and bruised and beaten up and all that stuff, then you start to learn that it's an amazing thing to have boundaries, right? Boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries is my fancy word now. It's like, whoa. I was like speaking to Kido, our son, the other day, and he's talking about something. I'm like, whoa, boundaries. Don't cross the boundary. He looks at me like, well, we talked about that before. I'm like, well, we're not talking about that anymore. Boundaries, right? With emotional currency, when you have money, you don't go and put it on the street for everybody to go and take it, right? You put it in the bank, or you put it in a safe. You cherish it. You put it away. Sam and I don't really take a specific date to treat each other. Giving of time is not monetary. Being loving is not monetary. And I give and receive this daily in my relationship. Stella De Silva, this show is not about you. I mean, I'm sorry. I respect how you treat your life. My relationship is not built on money. When we talk about emotional currency is not money. Money is not emotional currency. I use the analogy of emotional currency so that people can understand that our emotions are just as valuable as money, if not more valuable. Our emotions are more valuable. Our sanity, our space of mind, our chakra, our chi, pick a word, is just as valuable as money. Because when you talk to people about money, they'll tell you, oh, I protect my money. Are you protecting your emotions? That's what this topic is. I'm not here to talk about people's relationships or your relationship. My relationship is not built around money. My wife and I give each other presents every day. I mean, we give each other love letters. We do that. And I learned that from all my previous relationships. So my apologies if it came off as I'm describing. I'm not saying money and emotions are the same thing. They're absolutely not. But emotional currency is very valuable. When you talk to people about emotional currency, half the people I talk to about emotional currency do not even understand what I'm talking about, right? Thank you, Jennifer. Everybody has a right to their own space. Oh, of course, Miss Aina, that's exactly what I was talking about. The people don't realize that because you're on Facebook, your Facebook friends does not make you Facebook, does not mean you're friends in real life. I learned that the hard way. When we got married, I invited friends to the wedding, and one of my many friends sold the pictures to the blogger or leaked the pictures to the bloggers. So for me, honestly, yeah. Bottom line is Facebook friends are not always friends. You're not, unless you have developed a relationship, unless you talk to each other outside of Facebook, unless there's a lot of friends that I've made, and there's a lot of friendships that I have cultivated from Facebook. Miss Eisner is one of them. Stella is one of them. And we don't always see eye to eye, but we still respect each other and we respect each other's spaces. Everybody has a right to their opinion and their spaces. But for me, emotional currency is a very, very valuable thing. Emotional currency has so much impact on people's relationships. I talk to a lot of young people, and they're so spent by the time they get home to be with their partner. They have no idea. They've done so much on Facebook. They've listened to everybody else's story. I used to be one of those Facebook warriors that would go and talk on everybody's post. And I didn't have time for myself. So I started this new thing that I tell myself, MMOB, minding my own business. Very rarely would you see me comment on people's posts unless they are people that comment on my post. If you don't comment on my page, I'm not coming to comment on your page because I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my valuable time conversing with people, with ghosts. I repeat, if you don't comment, part of the way I protect my emotional currency, if you're not somebody that's a regular on my post, if you don't comment on my post, I'm not commenting on yours, number one. And then eventually I'll unfriend you because there's no point. I don't need seat warmers. You don't pay me rent for being on my Facebook page. But your post might come up on my timeline that will upset me, that will make me want to step out of my face to respond to you. And you have a right to make your posts. Because obviously, if you're not posting on my page, if you're not making comments on my page, it's because what I'm posting does not resonate with you. So, Ali Mongo, me not being a Facebook friend is not going to cost them anything because they have no value anyways to me. Me not being their Facebook friend is not going to hurt them because, and what I realize is that a lot of people will they will read your post, they won't like it. They will read your post, they won't hit the like button, they won't do anything, but they come to your page every day for entertainment. I'm not here to entertain people. Emotional currency is the conversation we're having. And emotional currency is something that you have to learn. And even if you're single, even as a single person, you have to be able to guard your space. Your space. People tell me all the time, why don't you walk past that comment? Why? If I didn't see it to begin with, I wouldn't even have to be struggling with, you know, do I want to say something? Do I not want to say something? I'm going to be upset. All that emotions I'm wasting trying to decide if I should even interact with people. Why even bother? Why have them on my page? Emotional currency is the conversations and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence and emotional currency, they work hand in hand. Because if you do not have emotional intelligence, you'll be it'll be like a car that's leaking oil. Sorry, I'm a foodie and I'm a car fanatic. So my analogies are usually food or cars. So forgive me. But seriously, imagine a car, you just put in engine oil or you put in petrol in the car and it's not secure. It has a hole in it. So everywhere you go, you're leaking oil. Not only are you destroying the street, you are also going to run out of gas. That's the best way I can describe emotional currency. And emotional currency is not about being in love. It's about friendships. It's about childships. It's about giving boundaries, putting boundaries around your children. It's about your child knowing that they should go to bed at 10 so you can have the time to take it down. Or if you have a teenage child, in my house, it's 10 o'clock. When they were teenagers, it was 7. So if you don't have the boundaries, you'll be spending your emotions till whatever time that child is up. That's why boundaries are very important. It's not just about love ships. It's not just about, romantic relationship. It's about even at work. At work, you're supposed to work 9 to 5. So 9 o'clock in the morning, you get there, you do your own work. Now you get up and you start wasting your emotions and your time, your energy on other people's work, trying to save the world. You have to be choosy who you're going to spend your currency with. Like I said, if somebody comes to you and gives you $100, you're not going to go and leave the $100 outside by the door. You're going to put it in a safe place or protect it. And to some, $100 is nothing, but I'm just using that as an analogy. You're not going to just take the money and throw it anywhere or just give it to anybody. And you will give it to the people you want to give it to, right? Or you'll go and put it so that it can be safe in the bank. Pretend your emotions and your time is currency. Because when you go to work 8 hours a day, you're getting paid, right? So you have to give them 8 hours at your job. But when you leave your job, there's no boundaries. There's no job description. So you have to decide, who am I spending my time with? Am I going to spend my time on social media fighting with people? That was a question I had to ask myself. Because a lot of the people that you're fighting with they're not even going to get it. They're not there yet. A lot of people are pretending to be woke, or they think they're woke on social media because they are on Facebook hearing what other people are saying, and they go and spit it out the same exact way without doing research, without thinking, all that stuff. We're not always on the same place. That's why I always come to people's posts and say, pardon my ignorance, because it is ignorant. I don't know. If I don't know, I don't know. Teach me something. So if you want to learn, you have to surround yourself with people that you can learn from. Does that make sense? I know I'm going to get it called an elitist again, but sure, honey, go ahead. Because look, there's nothing wrong with knowing who you are. There's nothing wrong with doing research and finding out things. There's nothing wrong with knowing that you are just as much a student as a teacher. Nothing wrong with it. But if you don't protect your space, what I found is that me not protecting my space, there was all these Facebook, I call them Twitter generation people. There's a feminist 2 weeks ago that said she went to dinner with a guy and the guy was such a misogynist. This is one of the biggest feminists in Nigeria on social media. She went out to dinner with a guy and the guy was such a misogynist, but she kept quiet and she didn't say anything because she was just there for the fancy food. Honey, how are you a feminist and you're out with the guy for food? Even if it's bread and butter in your house, integrity is lacking in a lot of people. And that's part of it. Without integrity, as a matter of fact, integrity is what weaves emotional intelligence and emotional currency together. Integrity, because once you're hungry, so go home and eat bread and butter, or you're going to sit there and subject yourself to a misogynistic man and his commentary on women, and you are one of the biggest. I was done. And then you see all these people on social media, and you can literally see their ovaries. It's like, what are you doing? But then everybody has a right to their space, so I let them go. Emotional currency cannot be spent in the wrong neighborhoods, because people say, oh, waka pass, waka pass. Oh, just go past it. Don't say nothing. Right? Don't say anything. I'm like, but it's kind of hard. Very hard. I mean, you see something that's like degrading women or degrading homosexuals or abusive and such. It's very hard especially if somebody is being shredded for no reason. It's hard for me to just walk past and watch them be bleeding. So I usually jump in. But if you already know who those people is, right? Then you separate yourself from the people that gives you anxiety, and you stick to the people that challenge you. Keyword, because you don't want to be surrounded by people that clap for you all the time. No, you want people that challenge you. Challenge the way you think so that you can elevate yourself, so you can elevate your spirit, so you can elevate your spirituality, right? So, but you have to know who it is that's damaging to your emotional currency. Who is it that's sucking you dry? You have to be able to understand that and separate yourself from that place. Jennifer Naba says, emotional currency is just like referring to your feelings in all totality. Shuku to you. I'm glad you got it. In all totality, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to know when you're sad, and you have to be able to name it. Problem with a lot of people is that they know what they're feeling, but they're not able to name. Like somebody will say, I'm angry. No, you're not angry. You're afraid. I did that with a client the other day. She's like, oh, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I said, no, you're not. You're not angry. You're afraid. Let's try and figure out, what are you afraid of? You got to be able to identify what it is that you feel. You have to own it, right? And not money in any way, Jennifer says, more like allowing people make you feel less than yourself. You are the only one that can determine how you feel about things. I believe Moji is about investing your emotions where it will appreciate it and reciprocated. Reciprocated is not always, in my books, Jennifer, reciprocated is not always going to happen. We all wish that where we invest our emotions is where we get them back, but it's not always like that. Because believe me, I mean, one of my biggest prayers is to, when I invest in my emotions into things and people, that it gets reciprocated, but it usually doesn't happen that way. But at least if they appreciate it, then it's cool. And one of the things that I realized along my, God knows, more than 50 years on earth, is that a lot of people, I like that, Angela. I'll come to you in a moment. A lot of people don't understand that you are the one in power, right? Remember all those days that I used to get upset with people because they posted this, they posted that. How can you say that about gay people, but I'm gay? And then I realized it wasn't about me. It's really about them. It's about how they feel about themselves. Because if you feel good about yourself, there's absolutely no reason for you to be bringing people down. There's no reason for you to be talking crap about other people. There's no reason for you to want to sap other people dry, emotionally or financially for that matter. Because people that have pride in themselves are not going to want to use people. But there's a lot of users out there. And like I always say, custom make your relationships, because there's money sexuals and it doesn't matter. There's people that they're attracted to money, not people. And it's okay. Just be honest about it. Custom make your own relationship. Angela Oliver says, emotional currency for me is about creating a balance in your life where your internal peace is always maintained. That is what I call Buddha Chatra. In Buddhism, that's where we are all trying to get to, where we detach from everything, but we're human beings, right? So maintaining our peace always is where we all want to be, but it's kind of impossible. We can fake it all we want. We can pretend like we're always cool like that. Not lie. I mean, everybody has this. The key is to not have too many of those by creating space, and you have to create the space, like Angela says. That's why I said, if people are posting things that upsets you, unfriend them. You can follow, you can go searching for when you need it, right? Because I mean, there's some people that I unfriended, but I still follow, but their timeline does not come, their posts don't come on my timeline as often as they used to. They have a right to feel the way they do, but I, Moji, have a right to create my own space of balance, right? And in creating your own space, like everything else, everything comes with a price. When I started creating my own space on Facebook, people started saying she's a snob. Oh my God, it's because she got married. Oh my God, da, da, da. It wasn't that. It'd been long coming. I've been used as a toothpick by many Nigerians for so long. They just say, bow, bow, speak to me, bow, bow. And then I start putting up my feet and saying, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm no longer accepting this from people. And this is how I want to live my life. This is what I want from my life. And once I went from 5,000 Facebook friends, 5,000 literally in 2017. Now I'm down to 1,700 and something, and I'm still deleting. My goal is to get to the 200 people that or whatever number of people that I interact with on a regular basis. So if I have somebody on my page that I've been on Facebook since 2009, and they just sit there, my family pictures are on there, you have access to my personal life. Why should a voyeur be in my space? They can download the pictures, they can do whatever they want with the pictures. I don't know what the hell they do. But if you're not willing to invest in my life by liking a post, by communicating with me, why should I be subjected to the crap that you post? Or what I think is crap, if you're not willing to participate in the crap that I post. See, when people make too much of a withdrawal from your life in any area of your life, right? When people make too much withdrawal from any area of your life, eventually you become emotionally or financially or any kind of, you become bankrupt. So it's got to be a two-way street. Yes, somebody that allows you to be you is very important in life. Not somebody that wants to control you, not somebody that wants to rule you, not somebody that wants to tell you how to think or totally recreate you. Then they don't really like you to begin with. So we have to be able to give people the space that they need to be themselves, but understanding that everything comes with a price. So if they want to be in your life and you want to be in their life as well, everybody has to bring something to the table. Tune says, I have allowed a lot of people to play on my emotions and my mental state, but it has stopped and I love myself more now. I'm always inspired by your word. Thank you, Auntie Mo. Thank you for spending time on Authentic Conversations as well. We're all learning from each other. Believe me, the days that I learn from you guys, from what you say, you know. But yeah, it's important that we have to love ourselves enough to respect ourselves, enough to understand that our emotional currency is not unlimited, that our emotional currency is so important. Emotional intelligence and emotional currency, they go hand in hand. So it's impossible. It's impossible to keep spending on other people, to keep taking care of other people's problems, to keep taking care of everybody else's child, to be paying the tuition of somebody else's child in Nigeria, where you are in America, you don't even own, you know, your children are in public school. I understand there's a difference in the school system. A lot of the things that we do, honestly, good, bad, or indifference, we do because it feeds something in us. When we start to recognize our emotions, the good, the bad, and the ugly, life becomes a lot easier. Life becomes a lot smoother. A lot of us, we eat. I'm guilty. You know, I eat to feed a hole in me. And I understand that. And I've been working on that for the past 6 or 7 months or so. There are people that do not eat because that's the only thing in their life they can control. And that's part of their control mechanisms. And they're starving a hole. There are people that drink, there are people that smoke, there are people that have sex, there's people that do drugs. You know, there's all kinds of ways. We all have our drugs of choice. But part of the problem is that we do not have the courage to build boundaries around us. So our emotions are being drained or yanked left, right, and center. And we're being emotionally abused by a lot of people around us because of the fact that we don't see value in ourselves. Problem is, if you don't see value in yourself, honey, nobody's going to see value in you. People might say Moji is arrogant. It took me a long time. I'm not arrogant. I'm just there's a difference between being confident and being arrogant. Allowing people to be who they are and who they want to be. We are not all created the same. We're not all going to think the same way. Understanding yourself allows you to understand who you will fit with, who you will mesh with. And by no means am I saying you should hang out only with people that think like you, because you'll never grow that way. I'm not saying you should hang out with people that have the same values as you. You actually, yeah, I am. Hang out with people that have the same values, like integrity and a moral compass that's working and things like that. But you should hang out with people that are different from you as well, as long as they understand your boundaries, as long as they understand who you are and what makes you tick. But for that to happen, you yourself have to make sure that you know who you are and you know what makes you tick and you know what it is that you want from life, and understand that we don't all have a map. But if we at least know where we're going, what it is important to us, what you're willing to pay. I repeat, what you are willing to pay for your joy and happiness. Once you realize that life is short, by the time you hit my age, I'm 56 in September. Honey, I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth, but I pray to God that not too long past 90, because at that point I hear people can't wear sexy high heels anymore, and that's not my portion. Truth is, you start to realize that life is short, life is valuable, life is beautiful, but everything comes with a price. What price are you willing to pay for your emotional stability, for you to have a healthy life? Mind you, just because you have a healthy life doesn't mean you don't go through stuff, though, right? It doesn't mean that you don't go through things. We all go through things. The key thing is, when it comes to emotional currency, know where you're spending it. You know, I saw a post the other day. Oh, Danny Simmons, Ron DMC's brother, is on my page, and he says he's an artist. He made a post the other day. He goes, I no longer have any bleeps to give anybody. For me to give a bleep about you and the things around you, you have to have earned it. Oh, whoa. But that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says help everybody. And then I came home and I said to my wife, I said, you know what? I saw this on Danny Simmons' page. And, you know, I meant to inbox him and ask him to explain himself. But and my wife goes, look, think about it this way. Jesus Christ came to earth, the Son of God. He could have had like 100,000 friends, right? But Jesus only had 12 friends. And every time he goes places, he's not saving all of them, right? He's only healing one or two. He's doing his own little bit and telling his disciples to go out there and do theirs. I didn't think about it that way. See, this is where two heads are better than one, right? I didn't think about it that way. See, even Jesus Christ kind of protected himself by not spreading himself too thin, right? He didn't. He turned water into bread. I mean, stones into bread and water into wine. Cool guy, right? At least we know he likes to party. And then when you think about it, the guy had 12 friends. Out of his 12 friends, one denied him. One was Judas that, betrayed him. 12, really? And then he had a bunch of women friends as well. Point I'm trying to make is, they make it sound like Jesus Christ was just like helping everybody. Yeah, everybody. No, the guy was cool as hell. Yes, he hung out with poor people. Yes, he hung out with murderers or ex-murderers and taxpayers and this and people at parties and things like that. People forget to tell us because we don't read as well. Oh, well, I didn't read the Bible that way. I read it as the Bible. Now I'm reading the Bible as a storybook, as a textbook for life. Even in the Bible, Jesus Christ did not have the whole world as a friend. He didn't have 5,000 friends. He had 12. Right? He had 12. But yet when he goes out, he did not help everybody. He helped one or two people because everybody was not his assignment. Emotional currency and emotional intelligence, I believe they go hand in hand. I believe this is where people say choose your battles. Because when you're emotionally intelligent, you realize that every battle is not your battle. I didn't get here without get bumping my head on so many walls, so many Facebook pages, and so many fights, and it's not necessary. I just wasted all that. And then you get off, it's like even at home, it's like there's certain things I just ignore. There's a lot I do. My wife just ignores it because what is she going? You pick your beginning, because when you know the people that you're with and you know yourself, then you understand that it's nothing malicious. It's not about you. They might be going through something and later they'll realize it. Pick where you spend your emotions. Pick where you spend your emotions and with whom. With whom? Are you putting your emotions in you can't go to the river with a basket and expect to come back home with a bucket full of water, right? No, the basket is going to drain it. It's the same thing with love. Some people you have to love from afar. Some people you can love because they can retain that love. Some people you can love them till tomorrow because they don't love themselves. They won't see the value in your love. And they will always be going from one person to the other, trying to get that love because they don't love themselves. You'll see them putting other people down all day long. Instead of applauding and clapping and encouraging people, they will be the ones tearing people down because their lives are miserable. Are you going to spend your emotional currency around people like that? They will drain you because one day will be your turn. I look all over social media. It's what the consumers want that they get. Because anybody that's talking common sense is not going to, anybody that's talking anything that makes sense is not going to get any followers. People want blood, like hyenas that are hungry. They want story. They want you to come and open, they want you to show your tatas. They want you to be naked on social media. They want to see your butts. They want to see this. Emotional currency, emotional intelligence. Is that what you're going to lead with? Because once you've done that, now how do you follow up? Think about it. I was following a girl on social media and she's got big bazookas and every day half of her thing will be out. Eventually people got bored and she stopped, they stopped liking it. A few days ago I went there and Boga. Her bum is on the screen because she has to do something different. She has to keep pushing the envelope. But if you come to the table knowing who you are, being able to identify when you're upset. When you know you're upset or you're angry, you will look at the whole picture and try and understand what it is about that thing that made you upset. When you don't know yourself and you're not emotionally intelligent and you can't name your emotions, then we have a problem. We've all been there. A lot of us are still working. I'm a work in progress. I've been going down this path for 20 years. And as I'm helping people along that are starting their journey as well, once in a while I'll learn something different and something new. But I assure you, nobody's perfect. Absolutely nobody's perfect. That's exactly why it's important to understand how you spend your emotional currency, with whom you spend your emotional currency, and to have a good grasp on emotional intelligence. My name is Mojisola Wilson. It's 55 minutes. I don't go past 1 hour anymore because I have to go and mind my own business. If you're new on this page, please follow, like. I don't do gossip and all that stuff, at least not anymore, unless it's something that's really important. This is a transformational page. Authentic transformation is what we do. We try and walk through life with tools that will guide us to our promised land. Sometimes we talk about finances, sometimes we talk about relationships, sometimes we talk about politics in Nigeria and America. I don't even bother with American politics, but Nigerian politics amuses me a lot. And we talk about a lot of things, spirituality and things like that. By the way, if you're new to the page, definitely like it so you can be notified the next time. And if you like one of these t-shirts, inbox me. They are $19.99. I've been selling a lot of them. I'm very excited. And I have a new website called www.shukuaccessories.com, which is where I post all my handmade accessories, Afrocentric accessories. I've been doing jewelry, handbags and stuff since 1980, Boboro. It's embarrassing before I had kids. My oldest is 30. So finally, my wife helped me put it together. She made me a website and it's really wonderful. We're doing very well with that stuff. I'm very excited. Now, if we can just get our shipments in time, everything will be A-okay. My name is Mojisola Wilson. I thank you so much for joining me again. Time is the most precious thing you can give anybody. So the fact that we're able to sit here and give each other time, I appreciate you guys. Keep commenting on this because I learn from you, hopefully as you learn from me. It's a two-way street. Remember we talked about making a deposit and then taking out? That's how the world should be, right? Give and take. But protect yourself, protect your emotions. Understand that your emotional currency should not just be spent with every Tom, Dick, and Jones. Because I tell you, we don't have enough of it. There's a lot of people that are going through depression at the moment. So there's a lot of people that are on the edge. We have to be careful of what we say and how we say it, because right now, social media is the only place really that we have to interact with other human beings at the moment. Anyways, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm a realtor. I'm supposed to be in the car driving around looking at houses, showing houses. And I can't do that because coronavirus is out there. And, you know, our son has asthma. So I'm doing other things to preoccupy, to occupy my time. And I'm giving the clients to other agents in my office and such, because I own a real estate company. But life is amazing. Life is absolutely super fantastic. And I am so grateful for the life lessons that I've learned in the past few years. I have awesome friends. Angela is a very good friend. I have never met Stella De Silva, but I feel like she's my friend. I mean, it's just, life is what you make it. But every friendship comes with boundaries. I mean, I know what lines not to cross, and everybody, we all kind of create our own ways, and we disagree to agree. It takes nothing away from our friendships. And we, honestly, I think if more of us opened up and owned who we are, what makes us tick, I think the world would be a better place. But this thing where we don't talk to each other about our emotions, we don't talk to each other. Like if I heard Angela, I hope to God she calls me, don't inbox me, because texting sometimes doesn't work. But call me and say, hey, Moji, you know what? And then we'll work it out. And if vice versa, I've been known to pick up the phone and say, hey, what you posted is confusing. What are you trying to say? And we work it out. But truth is, until you understand your emotions and what the value your emotional currency has to you and others, right? It's going to be okay. Anyways, this is Mojisola Wilson. I thank you so very much for joining me. And yes, I'm going to go back and mind Shuku Accessories. It's on Facebook. It's on Name It. And Authentic Transformation is the name of my life coach business. Shuku Accessories is the name of the accessory line. I'm very excited about where life has brought me so far, right? Understanding who I am, understanding my my emotional currency helped me to get where I am today, to become who I am today. All the ups and downs, all the bumps on my head, all the hard knocks, school of hard knocks and stuff that I've attended is how I became who I am today, right? So this is Mojisola Wilson, and again, for the 100th time, really, for the 100th time, I'm going to have to say thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys on Monday. By the way, don't forget, on Wednesdays, we're doing book reviews every Wednesday of a Nigerian author. So if you have somebody that you'd like me to interview on the show, that's a Nigerian author that you like, please inbox me their name. I'll buy their book, read it, and see if I want to interview them. All right? If not, it's Friday. Go to www.shukuaccessories.com and buy something. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.